guys, it is Monday, April 28th. We're going to jump back in time just a little bit because the sheep got a new fence, or at least new part of the fence, and so I'm going to give you guys a chance to say hello to them. But then we'll jump right back in. First of all, just mowed the lawn, took a shower accordingly, and my hair is still wet, so please ignore the funky hairstyle. It looks even worse backlit, but you know, we're gonna work with it. It's fine. And then we're gonna get into my knitting progress for March and April because I didn't do a March recap because reasons that I'll explain in a minute. So first of all, say hello to the sheep. Hello everyone, I'm Kimberly from Dirt Floor Fibers, and welcome back. Ignore the angry sheep in the background. They're not going to be angry for long because I brought them a present. So I got another electric fence section. This is from the Premier One Supplies. I can't remember the name of the fence exactly, but it's the one where it's better for rough terrain, where the poles are closer together, 100 feet long. And so what I'm going to do, so you guys know what our little field looks like back here, right? Say hi, guys. And so what I'm gonna do with this, if you see how like beautiful green we have so much of the area, I'm gonna use this other one as a like portable fence. I mean, it's all portable, it's not the point. So I'm gonna like fence off a section that's green, let them in and let them graze, and then move it around. So I'm gonna start, I think, around their fence. So then that way I can take advantage of having a side already in place. And then that way I can rope off an even bigger area. Amelia, she's so impatient. So impatient. I have food in the truck for them, but I'm thinking that they might not get any today. I know. Just because it's new bags, and so I don't want to open it and have it spill all over my truck before I get it home. But they should be happy with their snacks. So let's go ahead and get this guy set up. Basically, all you have to do, I'm not gonna be able to show you and like hold the camera at the same time, but there's ties, these come untied. You have all of these poles, and then these will like stretch out flat and straight. And then you find the beginning pole and you stick it in the ground. I also have these like, I guess they're fiberglass, little extra posts. Those are good to put at the beginning and the end just to help keep it from sagging or going over. And then you just pop these guys in the ground. They've got like a little step-in peg down at the bottom, and it's super easy to set up. So let's go and see what we can do. All right, so it took me about 20 minutes to get this new section of fence set up. It's not a huge section, but it'll give them enough room to get out here and get some of this stuff. By the way, this over here was where their pasture was last year, and they ate it down to nothing, just like how they've eaten this down to nothing, and it's all come back again. So I really love the way that they can like clear out the underbrush but without destroying the environment. So I really like that. I did break a nail, which is unfortunate, and I did manage to swing this kind of around. So I met up with another pole. I was originally just going to meet with the fence anywhere, but I decided that being able to tie the two poles together, there are strings attached to it, like nylon strings, and I figured being able to tie the pole to the pole would give me the sturdiest fence. And we're gonna go back to the other side, open her up, and see what the sheep think. So Cornelius is a smart little sheep, and he already figured out how to get in. I basically took down 2 panels of the fence and I doubled it back on itself. I figured that was probably the easiest way to keep a sheep from getting stuck in it. And we don't want to get caught or break a leg or anything. And of course, Amelia is gonna come this way and then just like totally prove me wrong. What do you think, little girl? Let's go check it out. So I did not measure. Just getting caught along the edge. There we go. I did not measure anything. I just eyeballed it and then kind of adjusted when I got toward the end and started running out of space. Come here, Amelia. Yeah, come here. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And then the other trick is to not panic. So if you knit, crochet, whatever, work with yarn, weave, you know that if you start to get a tangle and you panic and you pull, you've just lost your entire skein of yarn. There's nothing you can do about it. However, if you just like stop, think about it, do a little untangling, it works super well. So super easy to put up. Like I said, it took about 20 minutes. And let's see if we can get Amelia out here. Come here, Amelia. And the nice thing about this fence, hello. Yeah, I put on a wool petticoat today because it's been like chilly at night, but it's like 70 something degrees and I'm sweating right now. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to turn off the electric to your fence before you start messing with it. Oh, here we go. Now we're excited. Anyways, like I was saying, like I said, this particular fence has the posts closer together, which makes it really easy to just kind of weave in and out and around the trees. So like over here, I like went through all the stuff that was down and it was super easy to do. If you've got a big flat open area, the ones that have fewer posts are easy, like they're lighter in weight, and I think they're a little less expensive. But if you're trying to go through the woods, this works really well. I am totally cracking up. So I brought my bucket over so I could sit in the shade and just hang out for a little bit because it's so peaceful out here and the day's so nice. But the stuff that's growing out here is identical to the stuff that's growing inside their fence, and yet they're acting like this is like amazing, ambrosial. Amelia has a weed stuck to her head. Do you guys see that? Oh, hi, Cornelius. Do you see the weed stuck to her forehead? You look silly. All right, now we're back to April 28th. So I did not make as much progress on my knitting in March as I wanted to. I'm still pretty proud of what I got accomplished. I felt like I worked as much as I could, so I wasn't slacking off at all. But I think it was a little bit of a letdown after finishing so many items in January and February. Yeah, January and February, and then March slowed down. But now I can do a recap of both March and April together, and I have some finished items to show you. So I'm really excited. They're not 100% finished yet, but they will be like in a couple of minutes in this video. But I figured I would show you the progress first because I have markers in and didn't want to block anything with the markers still in. So I finished my muscle bar hat. This was using the Black Elephant yarn. Hand-dyed in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. All the information's up on my Ravelry page for this project. I'll put some updated pictures in there as well. This one I did the regular by the instructions hat where there's not a separate like ribbed brim in the middle, so you can wear it folded, not folded. I think it came out with just the right amount of slouch. This is actually the first time I'm actually seeing myself in it. Like, oh, look what I did to my hair. This is gonna be terrible, but that's okay. Anyway, it fits perfectly. I love it. All of my measurements, again, are on my Ravelry page. I think I did 144 stitches around at the widest point for this guy. I also won the yarn chicken. So if you guys remember from the beginning of the project, I was going to do the crown and then weigh the yarn to see how much the crown took. And then I forgot to weigh the skein ahead of time. And then the skein was like overweight because I had made the crown and it was still 100 grams. So that did not work out as planned. So what I did was I weighed the crown with the needles in it and it was 14 grams. So I figured what I would do was knit until I had 14 grams left, switch over to my double pointed needles, and then weigh the needles that were in the crown when I weighed it. And they're a really complicated process. But I ended up making a little bit of a mistake. And did I make a mistake? Not really. So I accidentally went to 12 grams left instead of 14, which was my original plan. And at that point I said, forget it. I don't really care how much it weighs. I'm just going to start decreasing. So I ended up with somewhere between 3 and 4 grams left over. It was fluctuating between the two because I wasn't using my super precise one. So somewhere between 3 and 4 grams. So I'm going to say 3 just to be on the safe side. So that means 12 minus 3. I'm fired for not being able to do math. So it's about 9 grams that the crown took, at least in this particular yarn. So I had a little bit left over, but that's not too bad. If I had played it any closer, I could have run out. And so it's fine without the extra couple of rows. I feel like I really like this fit. I also got a chance to try, that's the wrong bag. I also got a chance to try out my new collage needles, which are the square ones, which again, I don't know if you can see that, but they're square. They're supposed to be more ergonomic, I think, because they don't like roll in your fingers the way a round needle does. Jury is still out. I think the tension ended up being the same. I felt like I was like holding onto it tighter to get everything how I like it, but I don't know if that was just me being like super tense and trying to get the hat finished. So I can't tell you if I like these more or less than regular round needles. But I'm definitely going to use them again. Whatever next project I make that requires size 2 double pointeds, I'm definitely going to keep going with these just to see if I can form a definitive opinion. I don't know. They are pretty though. Look at that color blue. It's nice. So what I got done on the hat. Oh, what's the hair going to look like? Okay, not that bad. We're okay. So where we left off. After I finished the crown shaping, I put in a marker just so I could tell where that ended. At the beginning of March, I was here. So March and April, I did all of that. So kudos to me. Very happy with that progress. Love the yarn. It's not like super like soft and fuzzy, but it is smooth and it feels really sturdy. So I think it's going to make a good hat. Again, I'm pretty sure this is 100% merino. Look, I have the tag right here. This is what happens when I never throw anything away. Yeah, so it's 100% superwash merino from Black Elephant. So yeah, definitely love the way this hat came out. All the details are up on my Ravelry page. Now I have to go and block it, and then I'll show you the final hat once it is blocked. And I'll probably take, my tape measure's not up here. I'll measure it for you as well. Put that up on Ravelry. All right, so that leads me to my second project that I finished in March/April, and that is my 4 Granny Shawl by Sweater Freak. Jury is still out on this one. I think I'm gonna have to block it before I can tell you how much I actually like it. A lot of Sweater Freak's designs, especially shawls, are in very interesting shapes, and so I did enjoy the process. But I don't know how I'm going to like the final look. So this is basically what it is, where it starts out, you're increasing, and then what do you do? Oh, so you're increasing in kind of a triangle pattern, and then you bind off a bunch of stitches, and then you're basically working in like kind of like a bias sort of pattern. And then you cast on stitches. Whoa, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Then you cast on stitches, and then you finish off with another point. And it's interesting because the 2 points don't match. They were done differently, which I'm not against. I think that's kind of a cool, like, twist. And so it's this overall, like I can't even show you, it's like a pointed trapezoid thing. And so I don't even know, I guess I could, not like that. Could I wear it like a scarf? I guess I can wear it like a scarf, right? I don't know. I think I have to wait until I block it because I have a feeling that this is going to block pretty good. All right, so some changes that I made to the pattern because I'm physically incapable of doing something the way that I'm told. I added a I-cord edging. So I added that all the way around. I didn't know how to actually start out I-cord when I started this project because this was one of my Advent projects from December of 2023, and I'm just now finishing it. So I just kind of made it up, but I kind of like this fun little point that it came out to, which meant at the other end, now knowing how to do I-cord, I would have done differently, but I kind of made up an ending so they kind of sort of match. They're not perfect, but they both have like this extra little leafy looking tab on the end, which I like. That meant that when I was doing my bind offs, I had to bind off using I-cord. And then when I cast on the other side, I had to do an I-cord cast on. And so that kept it consistent all the way around. It is playing with the shape a little bit. I do find that when I have an I-cord edging, it doesn't necessarily block to the exact shape that it's supposed to be, especially if it's like pretty aggressively blocked. However, I do like the fact that it gives it more structure, so it's not like stretching over much, and I just feel like it's going to be sturdier in the long run. I also like the fact that when you have a lot of color changes, I just run all the ends up through the I-cord, and then I leave the ends, whatever is left, and then I block it, give everything a good tug, and then clip off the ends and give it another tug, and they go back in, and I have not had a problem with anything pulling out. If it ever pulled out, it would be super easy to just take a needle and run it right back up through that I-cord, or if you were having trouble with it staying put, you could just actually weave it into the back like normal, but I have not had an issue with that yet. Did I change anything else? I think that was the big thing that I changed. I did something else that was very different. Oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have this hair that like hangs in front of my face. It's fine. This section here is supposed to be seed stitch, and I hate seed stitch. I'm not, like from a distance, I'm like, oh, that's pretty. What is that? Oh, it's seed stitch. I would never do that. I also feel like it absolutely takes forever, and so I just hate it on principle. And so I was like, you know, it would look really good. Linen stitch, because somehow linen stitch is faster than seed stitch. Don't know where I got that in my head, but I was wrong. Took forever. But I love the way the fabric came out. Like, look how, I don't even know if you can see. Look how pretty that is. Like, I absolutely adore linen stitch. And it makes such a nice, like, sturdy fabric that, again, I'm not sure how it's going to look blocked against the garter, which is really going to block and grow a lot. But I do like it. So it was worth it in the end. The backside looks pretty, too. All the little bumps. Those were the two main things. And then I did play around with color. I was using the 2023 Magpie Fibers Advent, which this is their Swinky sock base, which is a merino cashmere nylon. Really like the yarn. Again, it's soft with the cashmere and the merino, but it still feels smooth and sturdy, which I really, really like in a yarn. You hear me say that all the time. I feel like it's going to wear pretty decently. It does have the 10% nylon in it, but that's because of it's compensating for the cashmere. And so when you're working with it, you don't really feel the nylon. So I still kind of like this base. I don't buy it very often, but I like it for the advent calendar, so it works for me. The advent calendar comes with a 100 gram main skein, which is kind of this dark blue-purple color that you see. And then it comes with 12 mini skeins, which is interesting. So if you're working on a project for advent, and you don't want to complete something that has 24 minis or 24 minis plus a main skein, this advent calendar is a little bit smaller, and then in your other days you get like little yarn goodies. If you go back and you look at my Vlogmases from the last couple of years, you'll see me open the last 2 years of their calendar, and I actually just put up a listing for this next year's calendar, and they're adding in an option to get their plume base, which is like a fluffy yarn. I don't know if it's a mohair or a Surrey silk, or they've got one more that's like yak silk or cashmere silk, or it's fluffy yarn anyway. So if you want something different, that could be an option as well. And I did try as accurately as possible in my Ravelry page to tell you how I broke up the colors. I kind of lost track at one point in time when I was getting close to the end, and I was just trying to finish it, so I wasn't taking as good of notes, but I tried my best. So basically, I started out with a main color, it says it's blue, and then my first contrast color, and then my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh color. And then when I got to the main body, I went to my eighth color, which I love that color combination. That is so pretty. I wish I had had more of this, or there was more contrast. I did it in order that I got it out of the advent, so I didn't change up the order at all. 8, and then that's like the point. And then we went over and we had 9, 10, 11, and 12. I should have gone a little bit farther on one of these other colors because I ran short by like 2 rows of this last color. So I just went back to the contrast color number 1 for that. It's like an 8 row, 8 rows. So it's 2 color stripes, but 8 rows total. But you can't really tell in the overall scheme of things, especially since, with the exception of this end, the rest of these are pretty close in color. And so it doesn't stand out where I have 2 different ones at the end. Like you can see it, but it's not like pop in your face. And then on the other side, you reverse the colors. So my contrast color number 2 was the first one I used here. And so it's also the first one I used here. So it's at the bottom and then at the top. And then I made a mistake on this side. There are 2 versions of this shawl. One where it has 5 color minis, 5 contrast colors, or one that has 6 contrast colors. And for whatever reason, when I started following the instructions on this side, I was following the instructions for the 5 color, which is different. But by the time I had done those 2 sections, I was like, I'm not going to go back and fix it. I'm not pulling out that much linen stitch just to go back. And so I kind of improvised. So these 2 are the same. This one, I made one, it's 4 rows. It must be 4. 1 repeat longer. It's 4 rows longer. And then this stripe, which should have been even longer than this one, I shortened it, and this is the one that got me back to the right number of stitches on my needle to do the last 2 sections. So those 2 were the right proportions. But I like the way it came out because we did like the even and then a wide and then a skinny and this brighter kind of lighter color, and then went back to normal. So I like the way it came out in the end there, even though I messed up. So where I left off in March, the beginning of March, where's my marker? There she is. I was here. So I had done, ignore that part. I had done this part. So I had done the beginning triangle up through here, and I was almost ready. I was like that far away from starting the next shaping section. And then I did all the rest of that in March and April, along with what I did on my hat, plus prepping for my April. I had 2 markets in April. So I feel like I got a lot done, and I'm really proud of the fact that I have 2 finished objects for this 2-month run. So I feel like it kind of evens out in the end. So what I am going to do is go ahead and block these guys, and then once they're dry, I'll pop on and show you the final difference. Deepest apologies if you can hear the mower outside. It seems like it is now the weather where everybody is mowing like all the time, but I got everything blocked. Oh my gosh, guys. So if you are a new knitter or crocheter and you're ever making a project and you're like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the project, not sure about the yarn. I don't know. Stop and give it a block. Like, seriously, give it a block. I blocked my stuff last night and I cannot even tell you the difference. Actually, I can tell you the difference because I'm about to. So this is now my muscle burra hat. Like, I cannot even get it all in the frame. It is so soft. So before, when I was saying, you know, it's like a little stiff, little smooth, once it's been blocked, this yarn has like bloomed. It is so soft, so gorgeous, still not fuzzy, like nice and smooth, just the way I like my yarn. So it looks absolutely fantastic. It did grow. Take this with a grain of salt because I don't know if I was stupid yesterday and measured with my measuring tape from the beginning of the measuring tape, or if I like actually started at the 1. I think I did. But I was looking at this morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, did I know how to use measuring tape yesterday? I think I did. The grain of salt by an inch. So yesterday, before I blocked it, I measured about 19 and 3/4 long. And it also didn't sit quite as nice and flat as this. It was a little bit more like bowled up, but about 19 and 3/4, and it is now 22.5 long. It was about 8 inches wide. It's now 9 inches wide. Now those proportions might change once I actually start wearing it because it'll pull like to the shape of my head. So I don't know if it'll lose width or lose length or whatever, but that could change. I gotta tell you, my spin dryer has been like best investment ever. Now, if you don't have a lot of things that you're gonna use a spin dryer for, I wouldn't say like run out and buy one. But if you have a spin dryer, using it for blocking has been absolutely fantastic. I feel like all my stuff dries in like a fraction of the time. I know it dries in a fraction of the time. Something about my house like holds moisture and like nothing ever dries. However, because the spin dryer gets so much liquid out of it, like it dries so fast. So I did it last night, actually kind of late last night, and it's still a little damp. Like I wouldn't put this in a drawer quite yet, but I've got no problem with handling it. Like it's almost completely dry. So finally got it folded in half. Oh, guys, it's perfect. Like it's got just a little bit of the slouch in the back. And then I feel like, oh, I just messed all my hair up again. I've got to stop doing this. It's okay. Make it the brim rolled up. We'll have to finesse it a little bit, see how much brim I want, but need a little more than that. Oh, there you go. Split the difference. There we go. And so it's still got just a little bit of extra on the top, but like not too much. Very, oh, I can pull it down over my ears. Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So definitely seeing more of these in my future just because the knit is so relaxed and you're just going around in circles forever. It uses the entire skein so you can use up those colors that you really love and not have a ton extra. I love this hat. I love this hat. Okay, so that's fantastic. So sorry. 10 out of 10, highly recommend, both the yarn and the pattern. And then my other one that I was on the fence about, still kind of on the fence, but I blocked it out and look at how it has opened up. So you can see how much larger it is today, how much better the eyelet lace sections look. Still doesn't lay like completely flat, but I think that's okay because it is an oddly shaped shawl anyway. And I use the I-cord border. Ugh. Look how much fun. All right, I never wear anything like this. Let's get it scarf wrapped. Oh, and I still haven't cut off the extra ends because I got really excited. But they're woven in. I just have to actually cut them off. Oh my gosh. This is fantastic. I love that. I love the stripes. Now if you look at the original pattern photo, this section where the stripes are, the color of the yarn is much closer together. So you get like a little bit of depth, but not a ton of contrast, but I'm loving like the super extra stripiness of it. I wonder if I can, it's a little colder. I feel like it had like a little extra like fabric at the top of the point where it turns to like trapezoid. And I'm sure you get that like with other non-scarf shaped scarves, wraps. So I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on that. I feel like I have like an extra shoulder wing or something. But overall, super cute. Love this as a make. The yarn, absolutely fantastic. So yeah. There we go. So that is what that looks like. So now that I got 2 finished objects off the needles, what am I doing next? Probably making a mistake. Hang on. So the first project that caught my eye is actually not on my list for this year. So Spin Cycle Yarns is doing a cowl girl knit along, or make along rather. I'm sure you can either crochet or knit, whatever strikes your fancy. But the requirement is that you use at least 50% Spin Cycle yarn in your project, and it has to be completed between May 2nd and June 27th, which it's not May 2nd yet, so it's killing me to not be able to cast on now that I've freed up my needles from doing my other project. But when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I haven't done a make along in a while. Let's do a make along. But the whole thing with that is that I didn't want to go out and buy more Spin Cycle yarn. It's expensive. So I went into my stash, not like my this year stash, but like my deep dive stash, because I knew I had some Spin Cycle years ago. Like I cannot even tell you how many years ago. It actually might have been when this pattern first came out. I don't know how long ago that was, but it's been a while. I'm going to do the shift by, is it Andrea Mowry, I think, who does it? I'll put up a picture, and if I'm wrong about the name, I'll put it up here, but it's the cowl version of the night shift shawl. And I had ordered a kit, and the kit I ordered was actually using the same colors as the original project. And I'll put the colors up here if I can find them again. I think I took a picture. It's always the risk with Spin Cycle yarn. I think one of the reasons why I didn't make this project sooner, other than the fact that it got like shoved back in a corner and was never a priority, is because I'm not entirely sure how these 3 colors make the project in the picture. Like this does not look like the dark color one. The one on top does. Maybe the one on the bottom, but like that does not look like the picture, right? And so it's always so hard with Spin Cycle yarns because they always look fantastic, but sometimes you get different like concentrations of color. Like this one has a lot of yellow in it, which might, when you combine it with the other ones, not make a difference. So I have no idea. I'm really excited to see how it comes out, but I already had the yarn. I balled it up by hand because I was doing it at work while looking at computery stuff. It was great to keep my hands busy. And so we're definitely going to do this make along. So again, I'm making the shift using these 3 colors of Spin Cycle, which I shopped from my stash. Look at that, go me. So even though it wasn't on like this year's project list, it was still coming out of stash and not new yarn. So very proud of that. Less proud of the fact that my next project, or my other project I want to cast on for this month, is new yarn, but yarn you've seen. Hang on, let me get the name of the pattern. So I wasn't sure how much concentration the shift cowl was going to take, using the multiple colors of yarn, and there's a little bit of shaping to it. So I wanted something that was like a go around in circles, easy sort of knit, especially having just finished up my other hat. So if you guys remember, just doing the Dogwood Fiber Trail at the 29 Bridges Trunk Show at Finnegan's Run up in Fredericksburg, I picked up a mini skein set, a one-of-a-kind mini skein set, and some fluffy yarn. So I was originally going to do a hat with that. I had gone back and forth. I was kind of thinking that the Henry hat that I showed you a picture of, I liked that. Then I was thinking maybe I would just do a Musselburgh hat, and then just like stripe it or marl it, or, I don't know, something. I thought that would be really fun. And then I found the Kuma cowl by Laura Dobratz. And you know me, I never actually follow a pattern anyway, but that's kind of my inspiration. And I'm thinking, it looks like in her pictures on Ravelry, like from the projects, that a lot of people do, you can either do it in a solid color or you can do it in like color blocks. And basically what it calls for is either a skein of regular fingering, like one skein of fingering, and then a skein of fluffy, so like mohair, Surrey silk alpaca, something of that nature, and you hold them together. Or you get a 5-pack of minis, and again, hold that together with a fluffy yarn. But again, a lot of people look like they're color blocking it. But I'm thinking if I did like a fade with it, like do some stripe sections in between the colors, I think that would look really great as well. So I'm kind of leaning in that direction, but I have to wait to buy the pattern until I make like a final decision. I also need to buy it soon so I can actually get like the right needle sizes for it. Like I think I have the right needle tips, but I've got to go digging and make sure I have everything. And I want to do that kind of soon because if I can't start my shift cowl for a few days, what am I going to do? I'll be so bored. I should market prep for my next market, but who does that? That's crazy planning ahead, whatever. So just as a recap, this is the mini set that I got. Again, not normally like, I mean, the purples are really me and I love this color, but the light color and the orange, not normally in my wheelhouse, but I think together it looks very, very like sunsetty and I think it looks amazing. I have no idea what order I want to put them in. I have no idea. I'll figure that out later. And then this is the fuzzy. This is the pink peppercorn. And I think that's going to look really nice when combined with the other colors. So those are my two kind of main new cast-ons for May. I feel a little bit bad that after doing, well, I guess I finished. So March and April, it was one new cast-on and one finish a whip project. I feel a little bad that I'm not concentrating more on a whip in May. I know which one I want to do next. But I also want another new cast on because I want to use another one in my advent calendars. I'm so excited to work my way through all these projects. I love the yarn from last year. And I love all the projects that I picked out. And so I don't think I'm actually going to cast this on until I finish one of the new cast on projects I just told you about. But I can also spend this month getting ready for it. Instead of winding it on like my actual ball winder, I've been doing them by hand. So this is number 4. I've gotten through 4. This is my Botanical Fade Advent from Hue Loco, which I've been dying to use. I also balled up the main skein, which in my head I knew it was dark, but I didn't realize it was like green and gold. I don't know why. It makes total sense for Botanical. But starting back from the beginning and balling up these guys that are going to be in contrast with it, like, it has made me even more excited because it's going to look so fantastic. I'm so excited for it. But I think my project in May will not be actually casting on for that project, but just getting it all balled up and ready to go for June. We'll see how that goes because I would love to be able to finish at least one of the new knitting projects in May, even if the other one has to spill over into June a little bit. And then add in this, and then maybe even add in a whip. So we'll see what happens. But that is a recap from March and April. I don't even know my months anymore. March and April. What I'm going to be working on in May. And then hopefully I have my life together enough that I will give you some more updates so you can actually see some of these as I work on them going through. But thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.